will be available just after, yeah, should be pretty quick today. So welcome to webinar number 2. This is about actually taking what we did last week or 2 weeks ago, what we went through, and taking that theory and starting to put it into practice and how you could actually do that for your brand. So let me just click here. So what we'll be covering today is some marketing methods and why they should come after your initial strategy. This is something we've been working on, which I'll go into in depth in the agency in our Nomad plan, quite a lot, and I'll talk a little bit about that. Examples of different tactics. So tactics are the actual methods that you're going to use to acquire those customers after you have worked on your strategy. So that's usually what people come to. They come to agencies and they're like, oh, I need help with Facebook ads. But that's the tactical approach once we have done the research and the planning behind what we're actually going to be doing. Some other tactics is actually a kind of a joint social and content marketing strategy that we're actually using in the agency, and we're using for our clients as well. We're using it to grow our side of things as well as one of the tactics for our clients. And then an example of a picnic plan we built out for Q4 for one of our clients. So just a brief overview again, my name's Paul Hannigan. My background's entrepreneurial in food and drink initially. That led into experiential marketing and then eventually digital marketing, because we were doing that to fill our restaurants in London. And I run Roku Agency, so we are digital marketing agency based in London and now in New York, working with brands all over the world on helping them be the best version of themselves as businesses. So some of our clients, Husky Chocolate, Small Beer, we've worked with, built their ads and scaled them, as well as bigger brands like Ferrero Rocher. Now, let's get into it. So an awful lot of people or brands come to us and they would say things like, we need help with Facebook ads, or we want to run Google ads, or we're not, the agency we're working with aren't getting us the results. Quite a lot of the times when we actually go through it, audit their ad accounts, there's actually nothing wrong with the ads. There's actually nothing wrong with the approach they're taking as an agency. They've been tasked with doing Facebook ads, and they're doing Facebook ads, but they're not getting a return. And we have had this as an agency ourselves, and have had it for our own ad accounts. So what we started to do was learn more about this and the reasons why. So we take a step back and actually look at the strategy, and we did this for our own agency, and now we're starting to do it for our clients as well, and going, well, why exactly is it not working? And there's a framework we use to do this, looking at the product market fit, audience, creative, and offer. So what you can do pre-Christmas, last week on the last call, I said there's a YouTube video about seeing what your how you can see what your competitors are doing from an ad strategy point of view. You can actually reverse engineer all the different offers, how your competitors are building their whole sales funnel. You can use tools like SimilarWeb, which I'll put in the chat at the end, to see how they're getting traffic, where that traffic is coming from, what landing pages is going to. And from that, you're actually able to build out a whole strategic plan behind your approach. So that is how we now do our planning. So it's more holistic than just looking at the digital side of things. And then we do that homework actually before we spend any money on ads. So usually we have clients absolutely champing at the bit saying, we need to launch the ads, we need to launch the ads. But once we do this homework piece and kind of realize that there is discrepancy between the product or service you're offering and what the market is buying, and once we bridge that gap, then the results are kind of exponential for the clients, and usually they're extremely happy that they waited a couple of weeks for us to finish that work. Ultimately, this helps drive costs down massively because you're giving the customer exactly what they want and nothing else, which means that the click-through rates on your ads are better, which means that the Facebook and Google algorithms, if you're on those platforms, will reward you with better traffic. And then it's kind of a kind of a flywheel approach to acquiring and converting new customers, and you get more data, and then you're just able to kind of blow the competition out of the water. So for kind of luxury and lifestyle brands, this is a fantastic thing to do. I'll be putting up a YouTube video probably early next week on how you could do this independently, and what are 5 kind of different softwares, free and paid, that you can use to do this yourselves for your brand. But ultimately, what we're doing is making sure that the product or service we're offering is it completely fits to the market. So if you kind of look at the approach of, say, like Lululemon's a great example of this. They started off as a yoga brand, but if you actually go and reverse engineer some of their ad accounts, you can see that they're splitting their product between different kind of brands. They're going into gyms, they're going into kind of the fashion side of things, as well as yoga as an audience. So you're able to see what your competitors are doing, and then also build up different sub-markets for yourself as you scale. So these will then lead to audiences. So you're able to speak to different audiences. So if you're doing your copy in-house or working with a copywriter, how you speak to one audience is going to be different to another. So you're actually able to find an awful lot more potential customers. Your creative is going to be different. So some people will, like, if they're a younger audience, they might interact better with user-generated content, UGC style of creative. So by creative, we mean videos and images. It might be carousel ads, or it might be a mixture of all of the above. And the most important thing is the offer. Is what you're offering congruent with what your competitors are offering, or what the market will pay? That's probably the biggest discrepancy that we see, is that people build their product and you're so fixated, and I'm completely guilty of this as an entrepreneur as well, that you're fixated on the quality of your product and bringing it to market, that you haven't actually done the kind of groundwork to make sure that that fits in with what the market actually wants. So that is a really, really good framework for you to actually look at all the different elements of what you're doing and what your competitors are doing, and build a really solid strategy ahead of launching ads in Q4. So let's get on to Facebook. So that's where we operate quite a lot. So last week we spoke about the Picnic framework that we use in the agency. So that stands for prospect, interest, converse, nurture, incentivize, and convert. So what we want to do is create ads, and this is going into Q4 as well, that build awareness at the top of the funnel before actually giving an ask. So the Sushi Shop is a good example here, and I'll be sending this deck over. It'll be available for anyone who wants to have a look and share it with their teams. A good example here, Sushi Shop that was opening in Brighton. This is an awareness, although they do have a shop now call to action at the bottom. This was more in line with trying to build awareness with the market. San Francisco Bay Coffee, beautiful, creative. Again, they're pushing an interest that this is a page-like campaign. So what they're doing here is they're trying to actually build a community on Facebook. Converse. So this is an example of a bakery company who's trying to build their features and benefits. So they're promoting the fact that they're anti-plastic. Then we're into nurture. Apologies for the spelling mistake there, nature, nature even. So yeah, this company is now starting to drive people into the nurture sequence. So they're using a specific type of ad for that, and with the ask for people to buy. And then incentivizing. One of the best examples I've seen in years of a brand doing this is Packed Coffee. So the V60, I think they scaled to millions. So this is a brew kit when you signed up for their subscription service. Yeah, that ad scaled insanely high, just kind of pre-COVID. And then convert. And in this case, Latewoods Wine, 40% off and free delivery. Really, really good offer. Very solid offer. All they want you to do there is buy. They're not trying to do anything else except convert you to a customer. So why are we running through this? Because we're going to, oh, before I go into why we were running through this, what's the difference between a boosted post and a Facebook ad? So this is a pre-question that we got. And I just thought I'd do a quick slide of it. A boosted post is where you go onto Instagram or Facebook and do a post, and it has that little blue one at the bottom here. It says boost post. You don't have the data that you do from a Facebook ad from this. It'll tell you who interacted with it, but you don't have the click-through rates to the website. You don't have nearly enough of the data that you're able to use to make informed decisions about what offer. If you're testing like for like kind of offers, you're not able to see which one's winning. You're not able to see which form of media is better, and you just can't compare this as you can in Business Manager, which is the big kind of advertising suite that powers Facebook ads. They are good for local ads, and so if you're a bricks and mortar business, boosted posts can work incredibly well just around local awareness in the local area, and also for kind of engaging with the community that's on your Facebook page. But back to the kind of picnic plan. So how do we use this? So we actually use something called Cascade ads, and this is something you can take away and implement into Q4, because this is what we see work incredibly well. So what people will do in Q4 is they won't be ready. They won't have their media tested. They won't have their kind of proper planning that I'm sure you're going to do ready. So they'll go in October pre Black Friday, and they'll decide to run sales ads. The sales ads, which is here, used to be conversion ads, and they won't work. And this is what we see happen time and time again, because they're not kind of adhering to the marketing principles, which are build awareness, build interest, desire, and action. So how we do it, there's a separate point with that with sales, which is you're ultimately trying to take people off the Facebook platform, which Facebook don't want you to do. They want people to stay on Facebook so they can show them more ads. And you're not able to track that data because of the iOS updates. You're going to lose an awful lot of your data. So what we've done to counteract that is we have gone with a kind of a slow kind of Kaizen approach, a slower Kaizen approach to building Facebook ads. So what we do is we actually launch engagement ads, which is this one here. It's highlighted at the top of funnel. And what that does is you're building brand awareness for your brand. We use a video views campaign. So we have a video, usually 2 to 5 minutes long. And it can be about kind of anything to do with the brand. So for us personally in Roku, we talk about Picnic. We talk about PACO, that's product audience creative and offer. And what we're able to do then is we're able to retarget people who've watched a certain percentage of that ad. So either through plays, 95%, 50%, 25%. We're able to show them another ad, which brings them down the nurture sequence. These are incredibly cheap to run. Like we're talking, like if your product was £50 to directly sell it on a sales platform is going to cost you maybe £40 in this day and age, or it can be like actually loss making. Whereas to get 1,000 people to watch a video can cost you £1, £2 sometimes, depending on the audiences you're targeting. So if you're a fashion brand or in your lifestyle or things like that, you want to build that brand awareness, because not only are you looking for customers, you're also maybe looking for stockists, you may be looking for buyers, you may be looking for PR opportunities. All of this video views allows you to kind of build a massive audience and then send messages to them. So that's retargeting them with another ad. And because it's on Facebook, that data is really, really good. Another tactic that you could take, so what you can do just to sum up from this, what you can do with Facebook is start running video view ads. These don't need to be hyper, it's kind of like sophisticated, beautifully kind of done. You don't need to hire a video company to do these. Like sometimes the best ones are like recording to phone or showing just on an iPhone your collection or the different ranges, and then you can hire somebody on Upwork for 30 quid to put that into a really nice show reel for your brand. And you could literally do that, launch your video view campaign ad, £3 a day, and just leave it go for the next 2 months. And then you have a super rich audience that you're able to then target your messages in. Of course, if you want to do this quicker, which is what we do for our own agency, you might put 20, £50 behind it for a shorter period of time, and then you have a richer audience. So that's something you could take away and action. Yeah, pretty much now. Another of the tactics that we see work incredibly well is a software called Surfer SEO. So a lot of the SEO softwares are incredibly hard to use. And as an SEO agency or an agency that offer SEO as a service, like some of them are even overwhelming for me. And like I'm not the one doing necessarily the technical delivery in the agency, but I would just look through them and it was just too much information. So we found about 2 years ago a software called Surfer SEO, and I put a link in the chat. Yeah, it's the third link there. It costs about $90 a month for the kind of agency side of things. So it might be cheaper for you, but what it does is it tells you what content you need to create. It tells you what's wrong with your site, and it tells you exactly how to create the content to get it to rank. So at the top, I gave an example here, how to establish your target market. So this is one of our colleagues, Jess, created this. I think this is a blog from the content editor. And you see that dial on the right, that will basically tell you what you need to get your content to rank. And what we mean by rank is show up on search engines in a good position that hopefully you'll either get sales, leads, or clicks from it. So most content that when people create blogs, they don't really know what they're doing. And a lot of the times, we had it today with a client, they were working with an SEO agency for the past 8 years, I think. And none of the blogs scored above 12 that they had created because they just didn't know what they were doing in terms of putting this together. This gives you the framework to do it. So all you have to do is follow it. And it's super easy to do. You decide what you're going to write about, and how you do that is go into the content planner. And there's training on this online and also in Roku Academy, which I'll be speaking about in a little while. And then here it tells you, so for the exact term that we're trying to target, it gives us exactly what we're looking to create and what keywords we need to hit. This opens the content editor, and then from there you're able to create content and ultimately try to get this to above, I think it's 63 for it to rank. And we go to 75 as a KPI internally in the agency, just in case there's any changes with Google. So that's something that if you wanted to SEO optimize your site, you could just invest in the software. Obviously, there's other things that we do as an agency that we work with, like softwares and much more in-depth things. But if you're a solopreneur, small business, and looking to get a real return, Surfer is a great way to do it. It also tells you like what's wrong with your site. There's audit tools, so you're able to create an audit and then send that to your developer or hire somebody to fix those issues for you to be able to speed up your site and rank higher in the search engine. So again, that's something you can take away and do today to start getting ready for Q4. So other tactics that work, I love this one, and we're actually using it in the agency to grow our agency. So this is using Facebook ads is how we promote this, but we actually use a competition software called UpViral. So this is one of our clients, and they wanted to build their list locally for a wine and gin festival they're having. So he has spent about maybe £50 on ads to get 128 people signed up for his mailing list. In the same time, it's an e-commerce store. In the same time, his sales have doubled because it's built a brand awareness for the brand, and people are coming through and buying the product. So we're running these 2 giveaways, and he's giving away like free tickets to this event, and people will come and buy wine, but they're also signing up for his newsletter and he's making sales. How we're doing this in the agency as a service is I've got 2 young kids. One's only 6 weeks old, but with my background as a chef, I was like not getting to eat in really nice restaurants anymore. So what we're doing is like once a month, somebody's picked. We have people sign this competition running, and people sign up for our mailing list, and they're getting tips and tricks like this on how they can do their marketing better, and then they get a one-to-one lunch with me as a kind of consultancy to go through their business in a top London restaurant once a month. So that's hitting two birds with the one stone. And that's how we're growing our mailing list and YouTube channel and things like that. So this is something that you could take away. UpViral's about $90, I think. It is pretty chunky. We have tested other ones as well, but for ease of build, UpViral is probably the best. So this is something you could definitely, and they have I think a $1 trial for 2 weeks. So if you wanted to just go in and run a competition for a week or 10 days, you can do that, and it would cost you $1. But a really good way to start building your mailing list ahead of Q4. So yes, so the picnic planning process, and I think this was meant to be early in the slide. So we're earlier in the presentation, but yeah, picnic process, and this is how we used it to build it, or we're building it for a client for Q4. So a lot of what people don't understand about agencies is there's a lot of pre-prep involved to make things work. So when people come to us, they're like, oh, my Facebook ads aren't working. There's usually multiple reasons even behind the strategy and planning that I mentioned earlier. So the GTM is Google Tag Manager. So that's the setup tracking for us to be able to retarget audiences and put audiences into different what are called containers. That's a pretty technical process to get that set up, and we use an external contractor to do that, who does an unbelievable job. We're optimizing their site speed to make sure their site's quicker, so the click-through rate is higher, and we're optimizing their website. We're doing this whole planning process with them. So Nomad is our offer, so it's a nimble outsourced marketing and advertising department. So we've done all this research and the plan and strategy for them as part of our retainer. We validated the offer. So the offers that we found through that plan, what their competitors are running or what we think will be a good product market fit, we have run ads to validate that that is a good offer before we launch anything. So infrastructure set up, this is everything talking to each other. So this is, if it's leads, then Zapier set up, which goes to MailerLite, which goes to all these different kind of technical things talking to each other. That is where web developers come in. And then because we've validated the offer, then we've either told the client what creative they need to work with, or we have worked with a creative agency or a photographer, videographer, or someone to create the media that we think will work best. So that could be carousel ads, little user-generated content videos, whatever that might be. And then we set up the Cascade funnel. So that's all the different tracking in Facebook or YouTube or Google, whatever platform we're using, which is the 25% of this video gets shown, this video gets shown, this video, and ultimately they'll drop into this. So yeah, so from once that's all set up, what we're building, so from prospecting stage, so we got the Cascade funnel already built. So this is a shop in Manchester. And so we're doing boosted post for them. It's quite a big store, just about local awareness, getting people to interact with their Facebook and Instagram pages. The reason for that is because that they're able to drop in then as one of the audiences, that people who have engaged with their page in the past 180 days interest. So we're introducing the team, the ethics of the products, they have kind of really cool events, and we're running ads around that to build interest, so people can kind of come meet the designers, things like that. Then from the conversation stage, we're getting them to sign up for through UpViral, and also we're running live events for them, which is YouTube Live or Instagram Live. So they run the event, but we kind of run the back end and the kind of strategy behind it. Then we're nurturing them. So that's on Facebook and Instagram. So incentivizing people to sign up for the email. We're trying to get people off email as much, or onto email as much as possible, and off digital ahead of Q4, because it's going to get, the costs are going to be incredibly expensive. So we want the email to be really where we're focusing on going forward. Again, incentivizing them with email signups, and then we're starting the sales ad, conversion ads through Facebook as well, to try to get people to buy. So what are 5 things you could do today to impact your business? So if you go to our Roku agency YouTube channel, so you can find it on our site at the bottom, or just on YouTube, there's a video there on how you can spy on your competitors completely ethically, find out what they're running, and that will help inform you around what offers and that kind of PACO plan that you're able to build. You start kind of crafting your picnic plan, a similar one to what you're using there. What are your budgets going to be? Pick a budget, stick to it, and then allocate it over, instead of just a month period, over a 3-month period. That's how you're going to get the best cost performance. Prune your website. So yeah, if you don't want to fully commit to Surfer, but you would like us to audit your website, we can just run it through our agency software and send you actually a report that you could send on to a developer and get them to do it. So if that's the case, yeah, if you'd like us to do it, just drop us an email. I'll put the email address into the chat at the end. I said on the previous video, Search Console, to find out what search terms you're showing up for, and then start building that infrastructure. So that's quite time consuming to get your email list talking to Facebook, talking to your website and things like that. Also, super excited to launch our Roku Academy. So Roku Academy is actually it's online training that we use to train our team, that we've kind of productized into videos. So if you have never run a Facebook ad before and want to learn how to do it from start to finish, you can sign up for the Academy. It's launching at the end of August. It's going to be £200. Lifetime access is going to be about 200 modules on there, as well as kind of weekly Q&A sessions. So if you want to ask one of our team to have a look at something, you can bring it live to the call. So there is a mailer-like link in the chat. So if you want to sign up just to get a bit more information ahead of the launch, you can just sign up to the mailing list there. And yeah, that is it from me. If you have any questions, or if you want the audit, there is our email address, and yeah, happy to open up to any questions anyone has. Any questions from anyone?
Hi there, Paul. I was going to ask about the sort of minimum spend on Facebook ads, but to be honest, it seems like if you do the right thing, then you can get away with spending, if you do the videos, quite a small amount. I mean, is there actually a sort of minimum spend that you really do need to invest in to make any difference?
So minimum spend, it's obviously it's kind of how long's a piece of string in a sense, but if you're building the audiences in the right way and keeping them on Facebook, that's the most important thing. So engagement, if you don't have videos, you can run engagement campaigns to get people to interact with that. You're not asking for anything, you're just giving kind of value or entertainment. Then you can probably run £500 a month. Like if I'm talking about a full Cascade funnel. So if you wanted to run awareness campaigns and lead into sales, probably 500 quid, about £15 a day is what you need. Okay. But like it can go up huge. Like I remember, like one client, we were spending 30 grand a day coming into, and they're a small London brand, but like they were just seeing a good ROI. So yeah, and then they got hacked at 2 a.m. which happens. But yeah, I think that weekend they ended up spending 100 grand and making $250,000 in 3 days.
Wow. Okay.
So, yeah. But this is because they had a really good audience. So they weren't running Facebook ads before. Like we just scaled them very, very quickly. But they had a super strong audience on Facebook and Instagram.
Okay.
And
Yes,
this is a good reason to artificially kind of make those audiences too.
okay. Wow, interesting. Thank you.
No worries. Any other questions? If you don't want to hop on you can just pop them into the chat as well. That's fine. I'm looking at that on the side. Here, I've got another screen. As one sent, hi, I run a sustainable clothing brand and my website is on Shopify. I have a very limited budget. Could you give me some guidance on which marketing channels to prioritize? That's a really good question. So Shopify, you made a really good choice there. The best content management system for e-commerce because it's completely closed. If budget is a really big constraint, and if your product it says sustainable clothing, so I'm not 100% sure how unique the product is, but if you've got a specific niche, like say it's pajamas or scarves or something like that, then SEO is where I'd go. Just because if it was something like dresses, it's just going to be incredibly hard for you to compete. But yeah, this Cascade side of things is really a good way if your budgets are really, really stretched as well. If you can get to 500 quid, I would say go to 500 quid. One point with that is take it like a 3 month. So whatever you're going to spend, look at it over a 3 month period, not like a week or a month even. Because this all takes time. Marketing takes time. And for those audiences to mature and then for people to trust you enough to be able to sell. So instead of a monthly budget, look at it like quarterly is what I'd say. In the previous video, you mentioned that we need to define a target audience. How do we actually do that? It's a really good question. And maybe I may need to make another YouTube video on that. So I suppose the first thing I would do is what competitors, how would I describe myself in 3 words as a business? So we're a digital marketing agency, London, probably 4 words. So what 4 words define you? And then I open up an incognito tab on Google Chrome or Safari, and I put in those 4 keywords and see what shows up. Yes, because your target audience, what you can do from that then is you kind of know what your competitors are, and then you can go and kind of spy on their ads, and from there you discern what creative and what targeting you're going to go with, or also like go to their Facebook page, start stalking them, see what type of people are engaging with them. And you used to be able to do this like a lot more kind of in depth pre-GDPR, which was kind of scary in a sense, but it's still pretty pretty in depth what you can do. Then from that target audience, so you're able to get a kind of a good understanding of who they are. That's the organic way to do it. If you have some budget, what you could potentially do is if target a brand that's very similar to you and target their audience. And you can pick a brand as an interest in Facebook, and this is why we like Facebook Ad Manager more than the boosted post, because it gives you more targeting options. And then you could do it that way too. I'm completely clueless on Facebook ads. Are there any resources that can help me start somewhere? Yeah, so the Academy. Yeah, sign up to the Academy. Like you're going to be able to get support on your ads. You're going to be able to get like all the videos that we'll be putting up. The problem with Facebook ads is it changes so quickly in terms of like the interface or the targeting, or there's been this fight with Apple, so this feature doesn't work. So you need, like, although there's some great courses out there, they're not updated enough. Whereas we're kind of doing it day in, day out. So we'll just record something we're building for the agency and upload it, or upload it to the group with kind of some understanding of, or some insight into what we're seeing happen. So yeah, if you're starting to do Facebook ads for the first time, like there's lots of things on YouTube, but yeah, this Cascade funnel, if you want to try that yourself, go for it. If you want some support, sign up for the Academy. So yeah, you can just sign up to that MailerLite link in the chat. And yeah, it's launching end of August. We're just finishing off all the content, and there's going to be everything there: how to use Surfer, how to do Facebook ads, how to do Google ads, how to do YouTube ads, how to build stuff. Yeah, any other questions before we finish up? I think someone's talking, I can't quite hear you. No? No, I don't think so. Yeah, if anything else pops to mind, feel free to drop an email on hello@rokuagency.com. And if that's everything, we'll finish up. And thanks so much for joining. And yeah, any questions, let me know, and look forward to seeing you on the next one.
Thanks Paul, very much.
Thanks very much. See you soon.
No worries at all. My pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Bye.